What's up? Welcome to the Rap Drugs Pod.
Yeah.
Rap Drugs Pod live.
Oh yeah. Coming through hard.
Coming at you
Coming through hard
live.
in the cut. Minimize this. Yeah. Gunshots.
Welcome.
Welcome to hell, motherfuckers. All right, let's
You ready to see some fucked up shit?
Yeah.
You ready to get your mind blown out through your asshole?
You better be. Because we be sucking dicks and taking names.
Giving those names to other dicks, we suck.
Yeah, hopefully not too many dick sucks, though. Oh, this is going nuts. All right. How's it going out there, fam?
We gotta name our fans.
Yeah.
The Rap Drug family. Oh wait, didn't we come up with one?
No. We were calling them the cartel most recently. But yeah, what do you call cartel members?
I don't know. You don't call them, they fucking just murder you.
That's true. You're not allowed to call them.
You don't say shit.
Yeah. Todd knows better.
They show up at your house. Ugh.
Yeah.
I was watching these YouTube videos. This guy who's selling a whole bunch of MDMA, and he's fucking. He was talking about one time he was having an MDMA party, and the cop showed up at the apartment, and there was a cartel guy there.
That's awesome.
It's such a good story though. The cop goes, he's like, "Everybody freeze!" And then the cartel guy pulls a gun out, points at the cop, and he's like, "No, you freeze, motherfucker!" And then everyone just ran, and the cop couldn't catch anybody. They ended up just failing and run into this other apartment, and they're hiding out in this apartment, and all of a sudden the cartel guy shows up. He's knocking on the window, and he's like, "Yo, let me in."
That's awesome.
They let him in, and the cartel guy's like, when they come knock on the door, no one make a sound, don't answer the door.
I don't even believe it, eh?
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but the guy's known in jail.
Yeah.
I think he's lying.
I guess that's a good point.
Fuck, I shouldn't have brought. Yeah, I wish I knew his name off by heart. He'd be in my YouTube history.
If only. I don't know if other people can search our YouTube history. I tried saving this. Yes, it updated. All right. So I'm just getting a few more show notes in for the folks, so that people can join us midstream and find us. Got some good stories for all the fans. Like Elon Musk, aliens built the pyramids. Did you see that tweet, Todd?
No.
I guess we missed.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, I guess we missed that last Sunday, July 31st. He was saying it.
That's intense.
Yeah. There's lots of news that we're gonna cover. Actually, there was also a crazy podcast. I don't know if we'll have time to talk about it. About Sam Harris. I don't know. Do you know Sam Harris, Todd?
Oh, I know Sam Harris pretty well. I've followed him since he blew up.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, he was speaking about to Gabriel Dance, who's like this journalist
Okay.
who deals with. Yeah, you probably wouldn't be, but Gabriel Dance deals with the global epidemic of like child pedophilia and stuff.
Okay.
So that kind of crazy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was.
Serious problem. It's actually insane the amount of children that go missing.
It's totally insane. And I guess there's like, because of the laws around it, you can't even like look up these videos or look into this stuff, which makes sense, but it's kind of like nuts. Like they had to report everything they found to the FBI, and they had to create like this program that converted it all to text, and they couldn't even access the video or anything like that. So lots of wild stuff going on there.
That is pretty wild.
But yeah, that I don't even think that was something I planned to talk about today. What's going on here?
That's why you tune into the Rap Drugs Live. You get all the crazy shit.
Yeah.
Sounds of me eating.
Yeah, what the heck's going on? Something happened to the feed here, guys. The show notes. All right, let me...
Oh, I'm not even talking to anybody.
No. I think that definitely we still got a live stream happening. It's just something happened with my notes here. They didn't want to work. Too much of them. We're telling you guys too crazy of fucking news. That's all that's going down.
Yeah,
all right.
Put your mind back up in your asshole and get prepared to blow it out again because we got some even crazier stuff going.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to Blow Your Mind in Your Anus if you need to get that reference. But yeah, we're not going to talk about the Beirut explosion today. Probably going to save that one for midweek for you guys because there's so much going on. There's so much more to look into.
I still have a lot of questions that not enough people are asking. Like who's like explosives these even were?
What was that ship doing there for the last 20 years or 8 years or 12 years or whatever the timeline is?
Years.
Yeah.
It was like 7 years. And it was, some sources are saying the ship had Moldovan flags. CNN's reporting it was a Russian ship. It went from Georgia and was supposed to go to Africa.
Yeah.
Make it that far.
Nope. Doesn't seem like it at all. Even close.
That's a lot of explosive material. Like
a lot to just be floating out there, right?
Yeah, like
you would think
3,000 tons. This happened once before in China, and apparently it was only like 800. Or maybe it's not tons. However, the metric they were measuring it, pounds maybe.
Depends where you're measuring it. They were probably measuring it in kilograms or tons.
It was the States.
The States.
Probably tons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading American news sources, so it was probably all tons.
Yeah. Mind blowing stuff, man.
Yeah, and then the French. You're seeing a lot of French outreach. I don't know if you were reading much on that, but the president of France went there and actually went and like talked to the people and stuff, and they were all like pissed off because their own president or prime minister, they have both. Neither of them showed up.
Wow.
Nobody came down from their own government. Like our government's so corrupt. Some people were even calling for the French to just colonize them.
I'm not surprised. Maybe they should, but it's big turmoil there. Yeah.
This is all just part of like the French neo-colonialism. They're going hard. They're turning a lot of countries in Africa into French countries that weren't French countries in the past, like French speaking.
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, there's lots going on there.
They're out there doing shit.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of crazy shit. But let me try to find out more about this Elon Musk thing. Yeah, thanks for your patience, guys. Just want to make sure we've got the notes again, like I said, so everybody can get here. Wouldn't want anyone to miss out on the pod. I'm going to add this to the playlist. And what's the last step here? Get you guys some tags. Fuck the tags. We'll add those later. All right. A little slow, but let's start the motherfucking show. I've got some big news, though. Or at least a lot of different stuff I read. So the Elon Musk one, let's get back to that to start. So basically, July 31st at 12:14 a.m., Elon Musk tweets out, this is just crazy. What does he say? Aliens built the pyramids of. Yeah.
I mean, are you sure he's not kidding, though?
Well, probably is. That's the most funniest thing. I wouldn't be surprised. Unless he's trying to tell us, like, he's speaking to aliens or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's possible, too. But, yeah, the news kind of jumped on it quickly. Egyptologist denies Elon Musk claims that aliens built the pyramids, but this the funny thing about you saying Elon Musk must have been bullshitting was 11:51 p.m., so like 11 hours later. BBC article provides a sensible summary of how it was done. And then um, even if Elon Musk's statement that Egypt pyramids were built by aliens was meant as a joke, it isn't funny. Egyptians are rightly proud of their extraordinary heritage. Yeah. Someone else said, I follow your work.
Not any Egyptians, but
Yeah. But yeah, it's so crazy. This article he connects to, I don't see anything about space or aliens. Oh no. Who were the pyramid builders? After comparing DNA samples taken from the workers' bones with samples taken from modern Egyptians, Dr. Mumina Kamal of Cairo University Medical School has suggested that Khufu's pyramid was a truly nationwide project, with workers drawn to Giza from all over Egypt. She has discovered no trace of any alien race, human or intergalactic, as suggested in some of the more imaginative pyramid theories.
yeah.
So they want us to think that. But yeah, he posts a link to something that tells you that aliens didn't build the pyramid. There's no trace. So obviously he's trolling
Who's that?
for
Elon
attention.
Musk?
Oh yeah.
He posted something.
He posted that link, the link to that article, that old BBC thing.
That's funny.
These
Yeah, I
other
know,
people
he's
are
always
just,
been screwing with people.
yeah,
The
exactly.
funniest thing too is like the Egyptologists are like some of the most sensitive people. It seems like they're just like, don't criticize my material.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, he should have been like, Egyptologists is a secret cover for pedos.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he knew that would get him in trouble. He's tried that one before.
Yeah, he's towing the line. He's already got in trouble for calling other people pedos.
Yeah,
He might he thought people would take it too serious.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They start finding pictures of the Egyptologists with Jeffrey Epstein and stuff.
I think there's a picture of that right here, actually. It's just so funny. It's just so funny to say that. And then have everybody like go nuts over it. I wonder if he is just trying to see like what he can tweet and get away with. Like if they're just testing him for intelligence purposes. Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
who knows though? Maybe this is he's part of the slow release of alien information. I mean, last week it was the Pentagon had stuff. Now Elon Musk is saying the pyramids are built by aliens. Maybe they already know that.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, they definitely probably already know it, and they're seeing what they can say to people, and if they'll agree with it or not believe it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, there's lots of crazy shit going on recently. We even missed some other news last week. But before we get into that, I just wanted to address anybody that keeps up with the IG stories. I am wearing the same shirt as yesterday. I bought it yesterday though. And it's freaking cool. I love it. It's like a Billabong surf shirt.
I 100% think, Jason, that no one noticed that.
Yeah, probably not. I just admitted to wearing this shirt 2 days in a row like a bum.
Yeah.
I found it.
You were just announcing. You just really wanted to tell people you got a new shirt, AJ.
Yeah, exactly. I want to look cool. I got a surf shirt, guys. I'm cool. Am I LA enough for you yet? Stand up. Comedy. Am I LA enough for you yet?
Can I move there now?
Yeah, exactly.
Park out front.
Exactly. I know we can move there, but I want to be in a home. We have plenty of friends who live there, but we need a home. We don't want to live with our friends in the streets.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to support the pod, send to PayPal, drugs.me/rapdrugspod or whatever it is. It's in the show notes now. Reload it. It'll be there. We'll split it with a homeless man. You know, we'll give a homeless man lunch. We're serious about giving back. Yeah. The pod's also fully funded on our own. The beautiful studio upgrades, you know, those are all out of pocket. So if you want things to get better, if you think it sucks and needs to be better, like Like, you think Todd needs some Bluetooth headphones because you're sick of hearing them rub against his zipper or his long beard, which he used to have? Uh, then yeah, send some cash and we'll upgrade. And yeah, you can email or text us what you want better about the show. We'd love to hear it. Someone said that Todd's beard was gay, so he shaved it. Because he didn't want to offend anyone who was gay. We want to look well dressed.
Yeah.
In case more people call us gay.
Yeah, I didn't want to appropriate the gay community style. I thought maybe I took it seriously. I thought maybe I was appropriating. He was like, "That's a gay haircut."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Instead I went to therapy, and I think I am like gay or partially there. Like, I like fingers in the booty, but
Whoa,
only if it's dudes. But anything further than a finger in the booty is a little too much. I'm uncomfortable. So I got to get more comfortable with myself.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know why people are calling us hobos anyways. Like, maybe they're like, it's a term of admiration and they think like, because we're two guys podcasting together, we're like a power couple. But like, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely the furthest thing you could say from an insult to someone in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like, we don't live in Saudi Arabia. We're not threatened by you calling us a homo. Or a woman. Like, that would also be very encouraging. Like, call me Oprah Winfrey. That kind of woman, come on. Power. But yeah, speaking of power and influence, you might have heard us talk about the election 2020 before. Oregon's going a different route altogether with it. They're not trying to delay anything like Pompeo and Barr, who want to keep Trump in, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, Oregon psilocybin and drug decriminalization initiatives are going on right now. So let me pop that up in the feed for you guys. Hopefully you got it on that other screen there. Nice. So yeah, in the news here, some pretty wild shit. Let me scroll down. I guess it's hard to see the article unless I zoom right in for you guys. So I'm going to just load it up myself as well. You can look at that beautiful graphic there. So this is from leafly.com, July 29, Max Savage Levinson. A nice decriminalized Oregon graphic there. I think we got like Todd in his fur coat, pre-beard cut, or like mid-cut. He got it cut halfway and then like lit that beard on fire from too much hairspray in it. So that's why he had to shave the rest off. But yeah, July 29th, this came out. Oregon State's Criminal Justice Commission released an analysis of impact of IP44, the Oregon Drug Addiction Treatment and Recovery Act. You can read the full extent in this article. We got some links in the show note too. So yeah, the statewide initiative to decriminalize small amounts of drugs on different racial and ethnic groups. The draft racial and ethnic impact statement prepared by the criminal justice suggests there would be a significant decrease in misdemeanor and felony drug possession convictions across demographic groups if voters decided to criminalize possession of small amounts. Total convictions for Asian Oregonians could fall by 83%, Latinos by 86.5%, for whites by 91%, for blacks by 93.7%, and for Native Americans by 94%. So the only people picked on worse than black people are Native Americans. And somehow whites are better off than Latinos in Oregon. I guess there's not too many of them, or the cops are just racist to black people and Native Americans there. Same with Asians. Asians are probably the cops, 82.9%. They're the ones being racist to everyone else. Not saying Asians are racist, just saying cops are. Cops are racist, not Asians. Asians are nice people.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're CCP, then no black people are allowed on the movie posters. But or
Convenience stores.
yeah, exactly. The CCP probably owns a few convenience stores over here. But yeah, so this article goes pretty deep. Penalties for the I don't know what amount, it doesn't say, would be $100 fine and/or a health assessment at an addiction recovery center. So I think that both are an equivalent, right? If you're if you're on the streets and you're homeless, like $100 fine, that's as good a punishment as a health assessment at an addiction recovery center. I think so.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I definitely. And maybe if you're like, if you're like a rich kid, like getting caught with some cocaine, you can't really afford that $100 fine as a student. You're gonna need the health assessment at an addiction recovery center, as long as your parents
100%.
donate to the police association.
Better.
Yeah,
If you're rich.
yeah, exactly. Otherwise, $100 fine's appropriate. Yeah. If you don't have the means, you need the punishment. But if $100 fine's like a slap on the wrist, send them into for the health assessment at an addiction recovery center. That's the real punishment. That's the real punishment. Detain them. Arrest this man and send him to rehab. So yeah, would sales be allowed and/or licensed? So under drug decriminalization, no. But under the Psilocybin Initiative 34, yes, the Oregon Psilocybin Services Program would license and regulate producers, processors, delivery services, and possession of psilocybin exclusively for the administration of psilocybin services by licensed facilitators to qualified clients. So licensed facilitators. So they're only going to let shamans have it, or like trained professionals. If you don't think shamans are trained professionals and they need an MD or some weird shit like that, then whatever you're into, that's all cool. But yeah. I don't know what else to really say there, but there's probably some more interesting shit in this article. I'm really tripping about this whole psilocybin being medicalized and sold legally though, right? Would drugs be taxed? Initiative 44, no, because they're decriminalized. Initiative 34 with psilocybin, yes. Medical psilocybin would be subject to a 15% excise tax. Then it defines psilocybin for people that don't know. Tells you how to pronounce it even. The latest polls say, Initiative 34 in February 2019, 64% of Oregon voters expressed support for lawful access to therapeutic psilocybin services. 55.
How are they gonna do it?
They're
gonna make pills or something?
Well, from what it seems like to me, it'll be like the way it's going on with the Johns Hopkins therapies and these different companies that are trying to break into it already. Maybe they'll just all start out in Oregon in the U.S. Because it'll be a lot easier there. You don't need the FDA approvals. But basically, it says you'd get it administered through like some sort of healthcare professional.
Yeah.
Some others, I think, want to go a different way, but here's what it would say. 5 things to know. Health insurers will not be required to cover the cost. The Oregon Health Authority must begin accepting applications for manufacturing service centers, facilitator, and testing licenses by January 2nd, 2023. So it's still a long ways away, even if it does happen, but this is the right steps. Like, this is the California marijuana legalization movement. This is what we need. Someone to do it first. An individual applying for a license can be denied if they are found to be not of good repute and moral character. Hopefully that doesn't mean if they got charged for drug crimes already, because we know that those people have been unfairly discriminated against in the cannabis licensing thing.
Yeah.
In a lot of states and provinces even. An individual is prohibited from having a financial interest in more than one psilocybin product manufacturer or more than 5 psilocybin service centers. To become a licensed facilitator, an applicant must pass an examination offered by the Oregon Health Authority at least twice a year. And yeah, here's a good quote from the advocates. A growing body of evidence demonstrates that psilocybin-assisted therapy is safe and uniquely effective. We think this is a novel approach, could help alleviate the mental health crisis here in Oregon by addressing costly epidemics like suicide, treatment-resistant depression and anxiety, PTSD, and addiction to drugs, alcohol, and nicotine. Additionally, the measure would be would open doors for new research, create access to services for those interested in personal development, and reduce penalties for common possession of psilocybin. And Sherry Urquhart from the society also said, in times like these, we need accessible therapeutic options that can really impact people's lives. That is what this initiative is all about. We're honored by the support and faith that so many Oregonians, I don't know how to say that, have put into this effort, and we're excited to, yeah, and we're excited to have made this leap towards qualification. Yeah. Or Afghanistan. IP34 medical psilocybin legislation. This is opponents. Decriminalize Nature Portland. Decriminalize Nature Portland must express our strongest disappointment with the flip-flop in the direction taken by the Oregon Psilocybin Society, who've abandoned their original intentions to pass statewide decriminalization in addition to a statewide therapy model. The original initiative, IP12, provided for sweeping penalty reduction and decriminalization. Their new initiative, IP34, is a how not to, as it explicitly criminalizes psilocybin possession outside a therapy center. Well, what do these people want? Like Wild Wild West? The decriminalized Nature Portland, though. My guess is it's a bunch of drug dealers.
Yeah.
They want to be able to sell their mushrooms and their customers to walk away happy, but they don't want to have to license and get taxed and go through the centers safely, or have to adhere to FDA safety standards or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's just weird, right?
I feel like it's also like right wingers though who don't want it to be legal but don't want to be against it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of their middle lane. Probably like a weird coalition of drug dealers and Republicans.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a it's definitely like what it's called is Decriminalize Nature Portland, the group. So there's that group of the drug dealers that want it. And then like you're saying, there's all the conservatives that are also on their side. Which is, it's just funny that those people end up together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's politics though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely that's politics. So yeah, that's some wild ass shit there. And we're gonna go to the next piece on I don't really want to get more into this, but we kind of don't have a choice. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? Let me just check something out. Sorry guys, this is our first time doing this, so there's going to be a few minor hiccups here. What do we got? This next one. Yeah. How psychedelic drugs are used as a tool for state violence. So this is a hilarious article. Maybe it's more on MK Ultra and like everything they did, but basically there's a long racist history of psychedelic drugs being used to repress and oppress. So yeah, so in August 2019, Michael Spollen spoke about the promise of psychedelic therapy to a receptive audience at the American Psychological Association convention. Pollan was coming off a very successful year. The New York Times called his book one of the best of 2018, and his lecture marked the culmination of a public discussion that has helped to bring psychedelic therapy to mainstream consciousness. Then just a few weeks later, Elijah McClain, a young black man, was killed by police after being involuntarily administered ketamine, a psychedelic substance with powerful dissociative effects. Is also increasingly used as tranquilizer by police departments that are attempting to avoid liability of firearms and tasers. This is, right? I guess, McLean's case marks but one example in a long, significant history of psychedelics and cannabis being used as tools of state violence, a racist history that has been glossed over by Pollan and many others promoting psychedelic research renaissance. So you heard it here first. Well, on Salon, but we're covering it for real. These guys don't have a following. But yeah, the strategic architecture behind this renaissance has been in a large part built on alliances with military and law enforcement at various levels. Beyond the optic appeals to national pride and the realities of post-traumatic stress disorder experienced by veterans and first responders, organizations like the MAPS and their supporters have expressed the hope that these kind of treatments will ultimately lead to solutions for structural problems within society, leading us out of the darkness of everything from religious conflict to climate change. So I'm on board so far. I don't care if fucking Bill Barr and Pompeo are leading the way on me to do psychedelics if it leads to
Yeah.
getting rid of war and climate change.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens next. But for a moment, ground for a movement grounded in science, this is a highly suspect leap of faith with no historical or scientific basis. By branding the psychedelic renaissance as a kind of archaic revival of the ancient uses of plant medicine, blah 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 blah. Talks about Vikings and Viking berserkers. So the Viking berserker warriors, known for their veracity and viciousness, and for which the word berserk is derived, would appear en masse, naked for battle, except for the carcass of an animal, covered in blood, and in a murderous trance. That trance, most of historians agree, was psychedelic induced, because that's normally like what I do when I do psychedelics. I go and like rape and pillage villages, because that's like practical nowadays.
They're not telling the whole story though. It was a particular type of magic mushroom that made you extremely aggressive.
Well, no,
I mean,
they do get
Yeah,
into
no,
it a
there's-
bit here, actually.
yeah.
They would thrust themselves at enemies using whatever, literally gnawing. So they get pretty graphic. But scholars debate whether it was Amanita muscaria, which paralyzes you when you eat too much, supposedly, or Amanita pantherina mushroom that were a key component of introducing that trance. So the pantherina is probably the one you said gets you aggressive and retarded
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
That was my understanding at least. I guess I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
True. You know how to read more than some of these journalists,
Yeah.
so-called journalists. Sorry, we're real journalists. We don't want to just throw around the title haphazardly. So yeah, the intention was not just because you're a blogger. The intention was not only to kill, but to dominate as viciously as possible and to tower over the psyche as to leave subjected, incapacitated by fear. Similar stories about the use of Amanita muscaria include amongst the Tartars. If you watch our secret Chinese psychedelic history, or secret Chinese psychedelic secret, we talk about the original use of this as like a weapon and other psychedelics as a weapon for
Yeah.
Chinese on Chinese crime. So I guess that
Yeah.
is pretty racist.
I mean, like psychedelics are all about the user. Like if you're a racist user, you're gonna not be just less racist. Maybe depends.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it's just about the experience you're putting into it. These people are probably like they were born and raised on war. Of course, they were gonna be like crazy when they took mushrooms.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, of course. It would be like if you're schizophrenic and take mushrooms. Like you're not going to
Yeah.
be any less schizophrenic.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I've
yeah,
done these experiments.
yeah. I mean, you might be a little less schizophrenic. I haven't done all the experiments, but yeah, according to the scientists that have, you should be. But
You just become schizophrenic and a high on mushrooms.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, my what really brought me to this article, how I came across it, how I come across all my things. This was while the Pentagon was spending billions on the drug war in Central and South America. Rick Doblin, the founder and executive director of MAPS, went to meet officials with the Department of Defense to discuss his interest in developing MDMA and cannabis to treat PTSD. It was reported that these unlikely partners were a sign that attitudes on drugs were changing and quick. Yet this seemingly unlikely alliance was neither extraordinary or revolutionary. So wild. They're alluding. I mean, not alluding to it, but maybe this is the new MK Ultra. Like, maybe Maps is the new MK Ultra.
Yeah, like they're gonna experiment on everybody now by just letting them do as much as they want.
Yeah, John Hopkins, MK Ultra.
Yeah. I mean, wow. That's super possible. They've been doing it. Yeah, they were working on those universities have all been working on the project since the beginning. Like,
Yeah, who knows? And
John Hopkins.
Stanford
I
was
think
up to some insane shit for time.
Yeah.
Like I think we all know about that the Stanford experiments and everything. Or if you don't, you should know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something
If
you can.
don't, you should watch the old podcast.
Yeah, but I think that one's actually on Netflix. We haven't done a pod on it yet, but we've talked about it. So watch all of the podcasts and send us the timestamp so we can tell people about it in later pods. Thank you, fans. Thank you, fans. Sometimes it's good to have fans. Like me. I'm a good
Yeah.
fan to have.
Yeah.
But
Fan of your stuff.
yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of the pod, so I get a lot of good shit together for it. Hopefully you guys become fans because of that. But yeah, it's just pretty weird that they're throwing around all these wild accusations. They do end up getting into MK Ultra. So I'll read it here. Between 1935 and 1975, the NIMH Addiction Research Center, ARC, in Lexington, Kentucky, conducted numerous studies involving very high, and prolonged doses of LSD, as well as experimentation with ibogaine on formerly opioid-addicted black inmates. One such study looked at LSD effects on black inmates who were offered heroin as a coercive incentive for their participation, compared to the effects on unincarcerated white people who were treated at the lead researcher's home in an environment designed to reduce anxiety. So there was like they were being racist by using white people for the control group and black people for the test group,
Yeah.
which is pretty nuts.
Doesn't
I
even
think
make sense. Your
I'm pretty.
experiments are gonna come out all wrong.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you listen to Brett Weinstein, the tolerides will be way off. Like
I don't know what that is.
some sort of representation in the genes.
Oh.
So yeah, when two people do it together, their genes combine. So they had these mice. It was almost like inbreeding, kind of, that were combining together. So the genes were like specific. So yeah, you're not going to get the proper genetic comparisons, like Todd's saying, unless skin color isn't determined by your genes. Because I hear gender sometimes isn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I think skin color is hereditary, but I don't know. I'm not a scientist. We'll have to look that up and let you guys know. Get back to you on it.
I don't know if I want to look that up.
yeah. I don't want someone following me in my computer. They probably already are after everything we look up. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be real.
But yeah, ARC program moved to Baltimore in the 70s, where it became the NIDA, National Institute on Drug Abuse. Although this long-standing research program obviously violated research ethic laws, it has never been renounced by NIDA or any other major psychedelic research institution. These illegal and immoral research methods were common practice within MKUltra. The CIA's infamous mind control research program, which provided funding for ARC between 1957 and 1962. So maybe they're putting the funding to John Hopkins and MAPS now, but probably not. MAPS is probably just trying to get paid. Like I'm gonna lean on that side of MAPS doesn't care where the money comes from.
Yeah.
If they're treating soldiers, why wouldn't they go to the guys who create the soldiers and ask them if they can help them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just went to school for business, not for this whole conspiracy theory thing.
Bureaucratic conspiracy was not one of my classes.
Yeah, exactly. I did do one on world politics, issue in world politics. So
pretty close.
Yeah, as close as you can get without doing the whole philosophy and political science majors. but yeah. So ARC was one of the 80 institutions involved in MKUltra, the intention of which was to learn how to break the psyche. Although much is made about the therapeutic benefits of ego death, this mental state was weaponized by the CIA. I don't know where this person's like, how are they coming to these conclusions? Like do they know more than we do about MKUltra? Like, have they read some classified files? Yeah. Because as far as I know, they never could truly determine if it weaponized the mental state. That was just a goal of it. So we're just debunking. We're bringing facts to this article. We're fact checking it for you guys.
Yeah.
But you can read it for yourself. There's a link in the show notes. But yeah. Anyways.
There's nothing to say for sure that what this person. We can't corroborate their story. It's not fully true.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't agree with counterintelligence. We don't agree with counterintelligence. So we're just trying to look out for it for you guys. CIA, don't shoot. But yeah, measured for its capacity to force compliance, crush dissent, and extract information, that experience of oneness and openness can bring about an apolitical view of history where there are no good guys or bad guys. That's another reason why we went to live stream too. 'Cause in case we get shot, there'll be like a live video evidence of it.
Yeah.
Because they have satellites that pick up on you speaking on this. So like, I'm gonna get nuked while I'm talking about some of this stuff, or like one of those rods of God or whatever I said in the Space Force episode. If you want to hear that one,
Yeah.
one of those is gonna come launching down on me from like space and just kill me. So yeah, they get more into some weird stuff about giving people LSD and MK Ultra, which we already talk a lot about. But this is an interesting one. Another famous example of the story is of Whitey Bulger, a Boston area crime boss who spent years as a federal fugitive. Years before that, he was incarcerated in the Atlanta Penitentiary, where he and 18 other inmates were given high doses of LSD every day for over a year. He described it feeling like he was going crazy, and in correspondence where he expanded on those experiences later in his life. He said, I was in prison for committing a crime, but they committed a greater crime on me. I don't know. Maybe he murdered people or something. We'd have to really know. He survived it.
Yeah.
But after his release, he cooperated for more than a decade as an FBI informant and was allowed to continue his black market activities, including selling drugs, extortion, racketeering, and murder. So maybe he's pushing counterintelligence even.
Yeah.
This is just
sounds
the
like
news.
Spit Tales.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then, yeah, they get deeper into between 2002 and 2010. MAPS conducted the first study, War on Terrorism Related PTSD in Israel, a study that recruited participants in direct partnership with the Israeli Defense Force. MAPS has consistently prioritized the trauma suffered by purveyors of state violence in their research, continuing the drug development agenda. From 2010 to 2016, MAPS conducted a Phase 2 pilot study treating the service-related trauma suffered by first responders, including police. During the same period, while the drug war raged and millions of black and brown people languished in the penal colony of the USA, being killed by police became the leading cause of death for young black men. So are they trying to say psychedelics make you racist? Or are they saying it's like I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think these people needed psychedelics, and the people that killed these black people are the ones that didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, how this person clearly has never taken psychedelics.
Yeah. They have a warped misunderstanding of it.
Yeah, especially
I don't know.
ketamine, a crazy party drug.
Like, this kind of article it makes so little sense that you had to actively, like, knowingly write this, willfully knowing it's incorrect. Like,
yeah. Well,
the information she has is
or
so
he
weak,
has.
like, it's like,
Yeah.
or sorry,
He or she. Yeah.
I don't know who wrote this.
I think it's a guy. Yeah. Two guys by the looks of it. But yeah, sorry. We're almost at the end. They're bums.
They have so much information that it's like they obviously read a lot of the same stuff we did, and they come to some weird conclusion that, like, it's clearly made up.
Yeah, obviously it's a puff piece, and they're just trying to use their white privilege to ride on someone's dick from being oppressed way back in the day. And now that they're trying to use psychedelics to make, like, they're trying to use a South America, like, something that is the furthest thing from white. I don't agree with we're giving everyone mushrooms and Viking stuff. No, we're giving people shamanistic ayahuasca therapy. Have you heard of it? Like, it's like the classic psychedelic therapy from not white people. We're not giving these cops psychedelics to go murder and eat people. They're not going to go out and eat people. We're not giving them hatchets and mushrooms so they can go out and murder people in Portland. Like, this is just such a... Oh, I'm sorry. This article is just getting me so riled up the more I read it. It's crazy. It's crazy. But, so, I'll get into these guys for one second. I just want to read this. We are not so cynical that we do not endorse the use of psychedelics or any other modality to relieve human suffering, including that of veterans or anyone who has been placed on the front lines of state of violence. However, cynicism can certainly be justified while we watch psychedelics researchers distance themselves from the revolutionary progress of the 1960s, when they were oppressing and killing Martin Luther King and other black people, how great the 60s were, without distancing themselves from overtly racist and violent history of state-sponsored psychedelic research. Where is the public outcry on the past part of researchers regarding Elijah's murder or the acknowledgement of other past, present crimes? What will be done about the certainty of future crimes as the legitimate uses of psychedelics are monopolized by state and corporate power? Whew. So thanks for listening to me stumble through that article. I'll get into the authors in a second, but I honestly, I can't believe it. We had to debunk it. And they cherry picks the facts from MK Ultra to just agree with them. So like they don't realize that most LSD or the first huge shipments of LSD were actually brought in by the CIA, and that it was used to infiltrate these non-Korean War and non-Vietnam protesters. Why do you think there was such a huge protest against the Korean War, and then all of a sudden this psychedelic boom happened? Like that, and like it. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. People don't know the full history and cherry pick the stories and then decide like, oh, these people use psychedelics for this. It's like, no, like Nazis, yes, Nazis are racist and they were some of the people doing psychedelic experiments. Yes. That's obvious, yes. But psychedelics aren't racist. Like if a cop shoots a bullet out of a gun or ketamine out of a gun, the cop's the racist one if he's shooting it only at black people. If he's shooting it at everybody, the cop's not racist either. Like, he's just doing his fucking job. Jeez. So Dmitry Muganius has worked for nearly 2 decades with Ibogaine and other psychedelics. So he's like done all those studies at ARC, giving the black people Ibogaine and psychedelics. So he knows firsthand. And he is known for his pioneering work with harm reduction modalities as a writer, poet, musician, activist, and organizer with an anarchist. Organizer with an anarchist critique of the psychedelic movement. So this capitalist anarchist, he's putting his name on an article that 2 guys wrote. So he definitely seems like an anarchist. How organized could this research have been? Like, oh man, what? Oh, okay, sorry. I'm if you can't tell, I'm anti-woke. Although I am pro-left. Unlike Joe, I don't agree with the military. SEALs and Marines aren't fucking cool. They should have just killed themselves instead of passed the thing. Instead of going to war and killing a bunch of people in another country, they should have just killed themselves. Harm reduction. I don't know.
From a logistical standpoint.
Yeah, I don't agree with the U.S. going in and controlling the rest of the world, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Joe Rogan's right. Maybe I'm wrong. I know his guests half the time are right, half the time are wrong. But I am a big fan, and I am also anti-woke. And I'm anti-populist too. If you're a Q fan, turn this off right now. Get out of here, Q. Get out of here. But yeah, Jonathan Dickinson, the other writer, is a counselor and consultant who's been working with Ibogaine since 2009. So both these guys are huge heroin heads who went to Ibogaine. He's formerly director of Global Ibogaine Therapy Alliance and currently lives in Tijuana, Mexico, where he has a private practice called Ibogaine Therapy. So let's see this guy. He's taking jobs away from South Americans to give people Ibogaine therapy in Mexico. And he's calling psychedelics racist.
Yeah.
And this other guy, we are the medicine. Find your healing path with the safe use of plant medicine. Both these guys are capitalists. And they're just trying to push Ibogaine therapy. So ridiculous. So yeah, sorry for wasting a lot of your time going over that article. Just really wanted to debunk that shit for us.
Yeah. But in case you weren't smart enough to figure it out yourself, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. In case my rant that went that long was not enough for y'all. Oh man, where's my mouse now? I lost my mouse.
Oh no.
Oh, there it is. All right, guys, going into the next news. The Joe Rogan. Did you hear about this story, Todd?
I don't know. Joe
It's
Rogan
from The
what?
Sun. UFC legend Joe Rogan reveals weirdest, most psychedelic experience in sauna that he hesitated to write down.
No.
So this is some pretty crazy news. Although it's from The Sun, which I also like. I have a bone to pick with them on their journalism skills, but just writing an article about someone's social media post is pretty clever. They must be watching the Rap Drugs Pod and stealing our swag.
Stealing our swag.
But yeah, Joe Rogan revealed he had the most psychedelic experience while in his sauna on Sunday evening. The UFC commentator has now shared the story in great detail with his Instagram followers, but he admitted he hesitated writing it down in words. It was a pretty crazy story. Rogan claimed he experienced insane depictions of struggle and tragedy from around 180 years ago. So he also revealed he began to hypnotize himself with the sound of his own breath, which is pretty crazy also.
Yeah.
Speaking to his 10.3 million followers, he recalled, "Tonight I had the weirdest, most psychedelic experience in the sauna. I usually start my sauna sessions listening to an audiobook. Tonight I'm re-listening to Empire of the Summer Moon, S.C. Gwynn's epic tale of Comanche Indians in the Southwest." And yeah, Matt and Shane's secret podcast, if you like Shane Gillis and the co-host, Matt, what's his face? My bad. They talk a bit about it. It's funny. They also talk about this hilarious show on Netflix, Love on the Spectrum or whatever it is. If you want to laugh,
Loves that show.
yeah, it's funny. It's good. It's good hearty show. But I don't want to steal all their jokes or get kicked off of YouTube for stealing their jokes. Because yeah, they say some pretty funny stuff about it. If you think that's funny, it's if you
some super ignorant stuff.
yeah, really ignorant stuff. Some of it's not ignorant. Some of it's very ignorant. But yeah, I think it's to prove a point. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just ignorant. Maybe I'm an idiot. But so Joe Rogan, back to his story. I do breathing exercises where I breathe in deeply for 6 seconds, then inhale for 6. So if anyone knows the yoga, those type of breathings. I got into my rhythm, started to get overwhelmed, thinking about these insane depictions of struggle and tragedy. All of it taking place from around 180 years ago to the late 1900s. So I don't know why he didn't say from throughout the 1800s, all the way up to the late 1900s. The story of the raids and the battles and the massacres were both horrific and fascinating. I kept thinking, this was not that long ago. Eventually, I took the AirPods out and just got lost in the breathing. The images from the stories lit up my imagination, and the sound of my own breath began to hypnotize me. The sensation became really intense, and it felt as if a layer of whatever it is that keeps me from understanding myself and the world around me was peeled away. 2 words echoed in my head: love and understanding. For the last 10 to 15 minutes, these words and the ideas that came with them danced in my head to the sounds of inhaling and exhaling, transforming my thinking like a beautiful mind virus. When it was over, I felt this overwhelming desire to just hug people and be nice to people. I also felt a slight dread that this was going to wear off. I hesitated writing this down because I'm not going to do injustice with just words, but I didn't want to forget that this happened. In response, one fan said, probably the guy who wrote this article, "You reached a different level of connection. Fucking rad, man. Congrats." Another commented, "That's amazing, man." And one joked, "That's just that heat stroke kicking in, mate." And then, yeah, they copied the Joe post there. But yeah, what do you think, man? Do you think he just had like a psychedelic yoga type sauna experience? Or do you think it was more like the DMT and acid coming back at him?
I don't know. Probably the second one. Maybe it's the sauna though. Like I've never really done drugs in a sauna. I feel like it probably enhances anything you do.
That's true. And yeah, sometimes getting high and being on edibles, even you just trip the hell out. And I can't imagine the amount of stress Joe is going through with the whole move to Texas and all his friends exiting LA and like their careers falling to nothing. I don't know if we spoke on it the last pod, but Joey Diaz is like ending his what's happening now indefinitely. The church. And Lee Syatt's going home.
Who's Lee?
Lee is a co-host, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. Did he really explain much?
Not really, but it seems like he was only in LA to work and he wanted to get back around family and that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty nutty stuff. But we're just I think we're just gonna see it more and more, unfortunately. Like LA's not what it used to be, fam.
Yeah. I wonder where the new spot's gonna be.
Well, the Rap Drugs Pod bunker is probably
yeah.
it. Bong Toke Production Studios.
Yeah, in 10 years, Joe Rogan will be moving to our bunker. We
Yeah.
got a spot already for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's a place that starts with a T. Toronto. That's where like obviously if we're gonna need a studio close to an international airport, but we're also gonna have a top secret location somewhere, probably in Eastern Canada or in the center of the earth. We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Real estate's
Northwest Passage.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere like
Up in Northwest Territories.
yeah, I was thinking like we get a tree and another tree and another tree and another tree, and then we just like put some ropes together and we're off the ground a bit. And then we just keep building connecting ropes. And now we're like not on anyone's property. But I guess we're in their legal airspace.
Yeah, and even if you're born on an airplane above America, you become an American. It's
True.
The land goes all the way straight up, apparently.
Racist. Those air traffic controllers are racist. Trying to be alien. I want to be a UFO.
I want to be a UFO.
Yeah. So yeah,
Go to international waters, I guess.
Or space station. One of the two.
Space station. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be the first podcast in space.
Yeah.
See how Elon Musk feels about that. It's
Jealous.
works,
He's jealous.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly. He's jealous because we've been talking to the Russians and Jeff Bezos. Yeah. We might talk a lot of shit about Epstein and Trump, but we're actually good friends. Yeah, exactly. Putin's getting us our satellite soon. The only thing is I've been hesitant to go because I'm scared of the NRO and the Space Force. Todd hooked all this up very recently. Yeah.
Vladimir pretty tight.
Yeah. They heard my movie idea for Joe Rogan, and Vladimir Putin's like, no, I want to play Vladimir Putin. Alex Jones is going to just have to be vice president. So we're like, what's in it for us? And basically, the next podcast is going to be live streamed from the space station. Todd broke the news early, so we might get guillotined before then. But tune into that live stream. But yeah, I'm not going to load this up because it's kind of boring. Psychedelic Lex now available. So Business Wire, a Berkshire Hathaway company, if you heard the news, he's losing billions. But they pumped out this interesting news. The first comprehensive book to examine laws governing psychedelic substances now is out there. So veteran cannabis attorney dives into emerging facet of law amid deep historical context, educating legal practitioners, enthusiasts, policymakers, physicians, and other stakeholders. So Phoenix, basically on the verge of culture tipping point, Psychedelica Lex now serves as the preeminent legal manual for individuals and organizations with a vested and growing interest in psychedelics and entheogens. Or entheogens. I don't know how you say it.
I don't know what that word is.
But yeah, authored by Gary Smith, a veteran cannabis attorney and general counsel of the nation's oldest non-Native American peyote church, Psychedelic Lex offers an unprecedented examination of the legal aspects of psychedelics while providing notable context history of archaeological, anthropology, biology, religion, and spirituality. Chapters span. You can read this yourself. It's in the show notes there. And I'm just going to get a quick quote from Smith. While psychedelics have been widely used throughout human history, they've been admonished in recent decades as part of international stands against drugs. As cannabis goes mainstream, more people are taking a fresh look at psychedelics, like us in the pod, reevaluating their medical, psychological, and spiritual uses. The public dialogue is clearly shifting. Have you seen Rap Drugs Pod? I added that last part. But yeah, the public dialogue is clearly shifting. comment below if you want to get in on this public ass dialogue. Or live chat. I don't know. I'm not even paying attention. Is there a live chat somewhere?
It looks like people are commenting. I don't know if it's in our live chat or on old videos.
Yeah, I think that's on old videos. But yeah, do
Okay.
do what you got to do, fam. We're busy. We're busy with our shit. So on to the next news though. The big interesting news from USA Today. The title of the pod: Zombie cicadas infected with a mind-controlling fungus aren't a threat to humans, but they're killing each other. Let me get you a greasy ass photo of these guys. Oh, do we got a video? This bum.
This pub.
No, there's the cicadas. There's the cicadas for you guys. So yeah, some creepy ass cicadas that I found insanely cool. So let me just get the article up on my own screen. Thanks for putting up with this, guys. I'm gonna try to cut all this out on the main pod, so that one's gonna come out a little late. Maybe I'll put it out early with all the crap and shit, and we're just gonna get better at live streaming. We're just gonna do it that way, okay, Todd?
Yeah.
People have to deal with our shit. We'll get better every time.
Yeah, fuck them. If you don't like it, watch us in a couple weeks and it'll be good.
Yeah, it'll all be solid. Maybe skip this one, listen to some more later, but let me get this going.
But also listen to these and like them and comment.
Yeah, like them and comment, or say they suck and dislike them. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Kind of want to know.
Yeah. If you disagree with us, comment down and I'll argue with you. It'll be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, we appreciate y'all and who are enjoying the show and sticking around. Even if you're popping over here and don't like us, we want to tell you why we rule. But yeah, after 17 years underground, cicadas are ready to emerge in the south. Humans aren't the only ones susceptible to the psychedelic effects of fungi. Cicadas are feeling the effects on a deadly level. So psychedelics can be deadly if you're a tiny ass bug. A mind-controlling fungus spreading among the insects has been identified by researchers in West Virginia. According to a study recently published in the journal PLOS Pathogens, the fungus called Massosporia, found in cicadas, contains similar chemicals to those found in hallucinogenic mushrooms. Once the fungus takes over, the cicadas lose their limbs and parts of their bodies are eaten away. While harmless to humans, the zombie cicadas are a threat to each other, as the males become infected and are capable of flying around and continuing to spread the fungus to others. The fungus causes the males to flick their wings to make the familiar cicada humming sound that is typically made by females. The flicking attracts other males as they think it is a female making a mating call, thus spreading the fungus to attractive males. The fungus is a death sentence to cicadas as it begins building up in the abdomen, eating away from the inside as fungal spores grow. The fungus results in a disturbing display of B horror movie proportions, according to a press release from West Virginia University. Certain cicadas spend years underground while they encounter the fungus, according to Science Daily. Once they arise, the fungus begins eating away their bodies, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. The infection cannot spread to humans or other organisms, as it evolved over millions of years only for cicadas sparing humans from another horror movie-worthy type of situation. Like the murder hornets. So yeah, these cicadas are a trip. They're all over the place. Most, like, West Virginia is just a common spot for them. I forget how long they disappeared for. Like, this is saying 17 years, but so wild that they're creating this hallucinogen,
Yeah.
or it's at least spreading a mind controlling fungus. So wild.
I've heard of a similar type of fungus that takes control of ants.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of the Joe Rogan story.
Yeah.
Just a fungus taking over his brain, you know. But yeah, you heard a similar thing in ants?
Yeah, I think it's like a common fungus that takes over the brain of an ant, gets it to do stuff it's wouldn't want to do. I can't exactly remember what it likes to do. But then eventually, it'll just go off and die after it eats enough of its brain.
True. That's pretty wild. And yeah, before we get into what happens to human brains on shrooms, let's talk a little bit about the 4 terminally ill Canadians that are getting hooked up with some proper surgery. So yeah, next time I'm going to preload the tabs in separate windows, so this is super smooth for everyone. But yeah, CTV News, I'm sure you've seen it in other news too if you're Canadian and you keep up with the psychedelic stuff. They got the approval. Those 4 terminally ill Canadians got special exemption to use psychedelic therapy. So in a landmark decision, 4 Canadians suffering from terminal illnesses approved to receive psilocybin therapy to treat the anxiety, marking the first time that a legal exemption has been given in Canada for patients to access psychedelic substances for a treatment. A press release posted Tuesday by TheraPsil, a nonprofit advocacy group that is working to help Canadians gain access to psilocybin therapy, revealed that Health Minister Patty Hajdu had approved the request. It's been more than 100 days since the 4 applicants first made their plea. I would like to personally thank Honourable Minister Hajdu and the team at the Office of Controlled Substances for the approval of my Section 56 exemption, said Thomas Hardy in a press release. This is a positive result that is possible when good people show genuine compassion. I'm so grateful that I can move forward with the next big step of healing. Hartle spoke to CTV News in June about his struggle with terminal cancer and the crushing fear that such a diagnosis brings. The 52-year-old's anxiety about the end of his life was making his current days unbearable, and anti-anxiety medication wasn't having the effect he needed it to. It was this suffering that pushed him and 3 other Canadians with similar diagnoses towards psilocybin. The drug found in so-called magic mushrooms is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound. In case you didn't know. Researchers tracking the effects of the psychedelic drug has found that it has the potential to provide long-term relief for mental health struggles such as anxiety and depression, especially in those receiving palliative care due to a terminal diagnosis. And the U.S. Center for Psychedelic and Consciousness at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, where the NIDA is, where the ARC moved to, the MK Ultra funded. If you want to listen to us speak earlier in the stream about that, it's not racist. Intelligence is racist. Psychedelics at Johns Hopkins University. Well, I can't speak on Johns Hopkins. Psychedelics are not racist. But yeah, in Baltimore, may or may not be MK Ultra related type of operation experiment. Currently running clinical trials to assess whether the drug should be released on the market as a prescription medication. Those trials so far have shown that it should. In Canada, the drug is illegal. According to Health Canada's website, possession, production, or sale of magic mushrooms, I don't think it says magic mushrooms on the Health Canada website, but or anything containing psilocybin is prohibited unless authorized for clinical trial or research purposes. It notes that currently there are no approved therapeutics containing psilocybin in Canada. That's going to change soon. Not by this one, but soon. These regulations meant that in order for Hartle and other applicants to gain access to the drug, they had to apply. After the decision, Hartle told CTV News by email that he was very glad to hear it, but acknowledged he hadn't been sure how it would all shake out. I had my doubts that this would go as well as it has, but the minister has really shown that she is ready to stand behind her words when she spoke about the importance of mental health. I certainly hope this means that the doors for access might be a little more open to others. Lori Brooks, another applicant, said in the press release she's feeling quite emotional. The acknowledgement of the pain and anxiety that I have been suffering with means a lot to me. I hope this is just the beginning and that soon all Canadians will be able to access psilocybin for therapeutic use to help with the pain they are experiencing without having to petition the government for months to gain permission. Dr. Bruce Tobin, the founder of TheraPsil, extended his gratitude towards Hajdu in the press release. Although it has taken a long time, we are impressed with their willingness to listen to the patients who have not been heard and to shift focus and policy to accommodate their interests and protect their needs. Tobin, a psychotherapist and professor at the University of Victoria, has been working since 2017 to be able to treat patients experiencing end-of-life distress with psilocybin. Canadians now have the right to die, and this was legally recognized in the medical assistance in dying legislation that came in a few years ago. Tobin told CTV News in June, "If Canadians have the right to die, acknowledged, surely they must have the right to try, to have a better life finally before they finally do pass away." Canadians have a right to die, acknowledged. Surely I must have the right to try, acknowledged.
Yeah.
That was pretty poetic.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good line.
Dr. Bruce Tobin. Good
Where do
doctor
you
for
get
doing
the
this there.
mushrooms
So, good question. Probably one of those like mail order mushroom websites or something cool like
from? You
that.
think so?
Yeah.
So order them?
Yeah. They must get them from like John Hopkins University in the US or something cool like that.
Yeah. They're probably like $1,000 a month.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Well, if that's some good, that would be some funny ass shit. But yeah, and there was some other freaky news before we get more brain and science stuff. This is some pretty nuts things. A Rolling Stones thing that was in the news. Secret agent mail. Mike Koblin's kids to form the police. So this article from the Rolling Stones is a really, really old article. I think it's from January 6, 1986. But somehow it got drummed up again. But basically it says Miles Copeland of the CIA, May 8th, 1981. Double agents selling secrets to foreign governments, defectors running amok in the streets of Washington, allies betraying allies. These days, spies are out of the shadows and on the spot. Yet espionage isn't what it once was. And at least one Cold War vet fondly remembers overthrowing unfriendly governments, planning assassinations, and performing dirty tricks. Most of all, retired CIA officer Miles Copeland, whose brood of rock and roll overachievers include oldest son Miles Copeland III, manager of the police, and solo Sting, Ian. So Ian Copeland, founder of the music booking agency. What? Miles Copeland? Ian, founder of the music agency FBI, and the youngest son Stuart, drummer first for Curved Air and later the Police. So yeah, this guy's deeply connected with the police, supposedly. And then so that article, it actually gets into it. The Guardian one. So this Guardian one referenced it and turned me onto this Rolling Stones one. So I want to go in on. You can read this Rolling Stones one all you want. We put that in the show notes too, but I want to read this Guardian one here. So let me just. Oh damn it! Losing my mouse, guys. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, this second last piece. Coops lies, dirty tricks in the police. The drummer was brought up in the Middle East, not realizing that his father Miles was a spy sent to destabilize the region. But he says it was Miles' claim that the police were a psy-ops outfit that upset Sting. So in 1986, 16-year-old Miles Axe Copeland gave a memorable interview. So the drummer gave the interview. His three No, it's not the drummer. The dad gave the interview. And his three sons were all music industry powerhouses. Stuart played drums in the Police. Miles III was their manager, Ian their booking agent. Miles himself had been a jazz trumpet player in his youth, but the interview wasn't about the music. The subject was his days as the CIA's man in the Middle East between 47 and 57, during which time he dined with President Nasir of Egypt, partied with the Soviet spy Kim Philby, and as a pioneer of dirty tricks played a part in removing the leaders of Syria and Iran. Inconveniently for his youngest son, he concluded the interview by implying the police were a psyops outfit.
Sounds like a double agent.
Yeah, he definitely is. Who played shows to 70,000 young minds to whatever the police decided to put into them. You know, it got old Sting on a bad day, Stewart says, tickled by the memory. He knew my father very well. He regrets now, but he took adversely the suggestion that he was a CIA pawn. Maybe he was. He is promoting psychedelics still now, maybe for MK Ultra.
Yeah, exactly.
In what's that one? Have a good trip? Yeah. Stewart calls his dad, who died in 1991, something of a wag, a bomb thrower. He was the kind of man the BBC would book for a late-night talk show to exasperate Tony Benn with an unapologetic defense, a U.S. realpolitik. There were those under whose skin he could successfully crawl. On a video call from his home in California, where he now writes opera, after 2 decades of the police film scoring, Stewart appears to be his father's son. Surrounded by books and an exotic array of musical instruments, he's a natural storyteller with a love of funny voices. It's just so funny, this whole thing to me. Like, just, this is exactly what a CIA guy would do. Claim the police are a psyop. Just to this counterintelligence move. It's a classic counterintelligence move. Say something that's preposterous and cannot be proven or disproven. So there's a
Yeah.
conspiracy out there that makes other conspiracies less legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, it probably goes deep in the Rolling Stones article on Miles Copeland Jr., but he was born in Birmingham, Alabama in 1916. During Second World War, he was a U.S. agent stationed in London, where he was involved in the disinformation campaign preceding D-Day, and married a Scottish intelligence agent called Lorraine Addy, who later became an archaeologist. When the war ended, Miles became one of the CIA's first recruits and was posted to Syria. Though born in Virginia in 1952, the youngest of four, Stewart spent his child adolescence in Beirut and Cairo. And let's see here. I don't think it does really get into anything too good of a tie or clear of a tie.
Okay.
I'm just trying to flip through the article now here. But yeah, it just talks more about the dad being part of the CIA. So not too interesting, not really psychedelic at all. Just cool, interesting intelligence kind of thing. And if
Always fun.
a lot of people seem to be interested in our Sting clip, so yeah, I thought I'd bring that up about Sting.
That his dad's a double agent.
Well, not his dad, but everyone else involved with the band.
Oh.
The drummer, it was the drummer, their manager, and their agent.
Sting was the only one not in on it.
Yeah, and maybe one or two other guys, but the ones booking the shows, they're in on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna end off this pod with this article, and then maybe a little bit of riffing to finish up for you guys. But yeah, we're finally doing the psychedelics again.
Yeah.
We're going hard on the psychedelic news for you today, and we're hoping the psychedelic news stays like this. It seems to be like it's back. We had enough articles to already fill up an hour for you guys, and I think I'm going overtime with the bustle. If I was more organized, maybe we'd be within the hour, but probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay though. We're gonna get better next week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, experts explain what happens in your brain when you take shrooms. So magic mushrooms are being researched for possible mental health benefits. And magic mushrooms and their psychedelic effects have been taking people on trips for thousands of years. But it's only recently that scientists have begun to understand what happens in your brain when you take shrooms. Research indicates psilocybin, the active ingredients in mushrooms, can be helpful for different mental health issues, including severe depressions. So Manoj Dos, PhD, postdoctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins Center for Psychedelic Research, tells Bustle that the trip involves multiple areas of the body. The psilocybin chemical in the mushroom is broken down in the liver into psychoactive form, psilocin. Dr. Donald Sansom, Associate Medical Director and Director of the Addictions Program, says. That's the compound that makes the walls move and the flowers breathe. The main cell type in the brain affected by psilocybin is called the 5-HT2A receptor. It's one of the brain's receptors of serotonin, a substance that affects mood. If you block 5-HT2A before administering psychedelics, you no longer get the typical effects in humans. A study published in the PNAS in 2020 also found that 5-HT2A helps the brain make new connections and find new ways of communicating between cells when you're high, which explains why people on mushrooms report very different ways of thinking. But the weird sensations of trips go far beyond these little cells. So the walls start to melt on magic mushrooms. Psychedelic effects might start in the brain's thalamus, which filters all the information you receive from the outside world. Someone proposes psychedelics turn off this gating mechanism, Doss says. This doesn't mean you tune into parts of the universe that aren't there, but rather your brain can't figure out what to pay attention to. It could be why you experience what Dr. Sansom calls perceptual distortion, where things bob up and down or change colors. Katrin and Preller, a researcher on psilocybin at Yale School of Medicine, tells Bustle that her studies have shown when you're high, the thalamus tends to communicate more with sensory regions of the brain devoted to things like taste and smell. Your trip's weird sensation could just be the thalamus taking in every bit of information around, rather than sorting it out nicely as usual. Why shrooms can lead to mystical experiences. If you've ever had a trip where you felt connected to the truth of the universe, hopefully that's every trip where you're taking a God's dose. The default mode network, or DMN, might be responsible. It's the network of brain regions that helps with things like higher level memory, Under normal conditions, different regions of the brain work closely together as functional networks, Meg Spriggs, PhD, says, at the postdoctoral researcher at the Center for Psychedelic Research, Imperial College London. But under the influence of psychedelics like psilocybin, these networks begin to disintegrate, and we start to see an increase in global connectivity. The opening of brain's networks might lead to all mystical experience that people have when they're tripping out. Spriggs says this rebooting of the networks could help with mental health disorders. With a disintegration of brain networks comes a relaxation of a person's prior beliefs. This then breaks the shackles of rigid thought patterns. A study published in Nature from Imperial College team found that this resetting might be a big part of psilocybin's positive effects on people with treatment-resistant depression. So, again, a wonder drug. Another theory about mystical experiences in brain involves a tiny region called the claustrum, which involves in decision-making and attention. Frederick Barrett, PhD, and Associate Professor at Johns Hopkins Center for Psychedelic Research tells Bustle that the claustrum gets disrupted by psilocybin. Studying psilocybin in the brain is tricky. It can be tempting for science to think they can map the way psychedelics. For instance, 2 separate studies in 2012 published in PNAS and the British Journal of Psychology showed psilocybin tends to decrease brain activity in the medial prefrontal cortex, which is involved in memory and decision-making, and the posterior cingulate cortex, which controls your sense of identity. However, Doss says studies of the brain's activity under psychedelics are complex and often badly designed. Dr. Sansom also points out that many factors influence the way your brain and body react to a trip, including underlying health, mood, personality traits, physical surroundings. It's not mushrooms plus brain equals pink elephants. It's not mushroom plus brain equals racist. And by the way, while magic mushrooms are decriminalized in the 3 U.S. cities, they're still legal on the federal level. So no, still very much not legal to do shrooms unless you're involved in a research study or in Denver and don't care about federal laws. I think Chicago and Oakland are the other ones. But yeah, even though there are still a lot of mysteries about psilocybin in the brain, the compound shows huge promise. A growing number of clinical trials suggest psychedelics could hold potential for treating a range of mental health conditions, including depression, OCD, addiction, and even end-of-life anxiety, the fear of death in terminally ill patients, Briggs says. Tune in and turn on Indeed. So yeah, a handful of experts. They got a handful of other references. The Bustle seems to be a pretty good, legitimate, research-based journalist house like us. Yeah. We focus on the research and psychedelic drugs. Not just the psychedelic drugs and the nonsense. Research is the most important part. And being unbiased and bipartisan is very important to us, if you haven't noticed already. Attacking Bill Barr and Mike Pompeo doesn't mean we disagree with Republicans. And attacking...
just means we disagree with not being logical.
Exactly.
Being
and
psy-op.
Exactly. The same way by attacking Salon.com, we're not attacking liberals. We're just attacking 2 idiot journalists that are trying to piggyback on liberals to get your cash. But yeah, like I don't know. I'd rather vote for Biden than Trump. Biden would be he's way trippier of a president. It's way dope to see him fucking trip out and have those brain farts and shit. Like he seems like he's on psychedelics. Maybe that's just my thoughts, but
yeah, I just don't really care. I don't like either of those guys. I don't want to decide.
True.
I don't live there.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, we don't live there and don't have to vote because we'd fuck you guys over one way or another. But yeah, probably not. I think things will end out good either way, like as good as they can, no matter what. You guys are getting controlled, so
yeah,
nothing.
It'll be fine. It's not like either of those guys died.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, that was the good stuff, and we got the Beirut explosion coming up on Wednesday. Is that right, Todd? We covered enough psychedelics today for everybody, or unless some more interesting news comes up in the meantime. Yeah,
maybe we'll get a couple other stories together.
Yeah.
We'll cover the Beirut explosion. Wanted to cover that. It's been pretty big story.
Yeah, we wanted to pump it out quick and right away while it was hot. But there's just so many layers. There's just so many layers. Yeah, we're very adamant, like we have been, about the research.
You know, I might have to go fly there Tuesday, see what's going on the ground. You know, fly to Beirut.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Got the
go
helicopter
to-
gassed up,
go
eh?
talk to the people. A lot of yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of conspiracies surrounding it. I don't know if you've heard like the missile.
I don't know.
There's
Save it.
a
Save
doctored
it. Save
video
it.
or something
There's a doctored video. Crazy.
of a missile.
Yeah.
hitting
Look.
the factory or something.
Watch that. Watch that in the meantime and get ready for the next pod. But yeah, that wasn't the only crazy news last week. Like so much crazy news. Like Jake Paul got raided by the FBI. That was some good stuff. Yeah. Epstein and Prince Andrew's sex fetishes are revealed along with the documents. New York.
What do you mean? We already know that.
Yeah, but they're like particular fetishes. Yeah, but maybe they're into like children's adrenochromes or feet or whatever. Look, you can look that up. But yeah, New York prosecutors subpoenaed douchebag in the Trump probe, so they're coming for his taxes one way or another. That was and that makes me wonder more too about Hollander. Like, was he a Deutsche Bank guy or was he a USA government guy? Good question. Who knows?
Who's Hollander?
Hollander's the guy who shot at Judge Salas and killed Daniel Landero. He kicked in Judge Salas' home. You know the judge who was looking over the Deutsche Bank thing?
Oh.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah, but yeah, Trump's getting roasted,
Good
but
question.
as Deutsche Bank's getting subpoenaed, he may or may not be roasted. Canadian researchers identified the first known cancer in dinosaurs. So dinosaurs had cancer, people. And
Is that right?
yeah,
They can prove it now. There's fossilized tumors or something.
something. And yeah, another crazy thing with Trump, where you know his dementia's showing. Trump again wishes Ghislaine Maxwell well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's in huge support of her, eh?
yeah.
He just keeps saying that because he's like, don't
And he says
throw me under the bus.
exactly. And he says Epstein may have been killed.
Did he say that?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's
Threatening her.
exactly.
He's like,
That's true. Oh, I didn't think about it
I
from
might
that
have
angle.
killed your husband.
Yeah.
Also, I wish you well.
Yeah, you're not secret husband. Your secret husband, he's safe for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then another one thing, SoftBank and Wirecard both paid German middlemen to broker $1.1 billion deal. Bitcoin and psychedelic drug enthusiast Christian Angermeyer collected a 13 million euro fee. So yeah, that Wirecard, I don't know for sure, but they might have been the ones involved in like a $2.1 billion account that didn't exist.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you know what psychedelic
Big
drug
lots of
and
money.
yeah, those psychedelic drug enthusiasts, you know, the guys working for the Bustle and this Christian Andremeyer, you can't trust these guys. So what makes you think you can trust these friggin' companies? They're like
Yeah, I know.
I'm
They
not
know better.
I'm
They know
not saying don't invest, don't gamble, but you know that you're gambling. You should know that you're gambling, especially with how all these cannabis companies ended up. I know someone commented on our last video, but it is what it is, right?
better.
Like
Yeah.
some of the companies are legitimate, made it through. A lot of them aren't really that legitimate. The executives probably aren't that legitimate either, and that may or may not be
Yeah,
why they're not
they're
still in
looking
the
for-
companies.
Quick cash grabs.
Yeah,
Stealing everyone's money who wanted to get in on the ground floor.
yeah,
Wanted to invest in the new Apple, like everyone was saying.
getting paid while you guys are wasting your dollars on a
Yeah.
business that isn't making any money and won't for a really long time. And who
Somebody
knows?
Worked inside one of the larger companies.
Yeah,
These fucking places are scamming the shit out of you. They don't give a fuck. They're dodging as many rules as they can
yeah,
and cutting as many corners as they can and selling people weed that's no good for you.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a really good way to kind of end the pod, Todd, because we don't deal with any of that fucking fake ass bullshit. We don't cut the truth. We give you the straight truth. No fucking baby powder put into it. No plastic shards and shake in a twisted up joint. Nah, we're giving you the straight up nug. We're giving you the solid THC and shatter form. We're giving you that raw fish scale cocaine. So support us if you like what you see. Send $1 or send 500. whatever you can to paypal.me/rapdrugspod. Follow us on IG. We also get the IGTVs out in a couple parts a few days later. Check us out on the podcast player. If you don't want to look at our stupid faces, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, or whatever podcast player. We're on all of them, or we try to be. Email us or text us if we're not on the one you like, or if you want to say something to us. yeah. If you want to say something to us and you don't want to put it in the comments, again, you can email or text us in the show notes. If you can't justify giving us money for free, go to teespring.com/stores/rapdrugs. Buy some fucking merch. We're rolling out some cool ass merch. I'm going to try to get more of these pics onto some shirts for y'all. And Todd might even come up with some new designs. I think he's got some cool ass ideas cooking. You can get
dope ass pictures like this Rick and Morty one where our faces are on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe not. Depends. And most importantly, just hit the like below, subscribe, and drop a comment. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. If you think anything's true, just write true. And then like maybe put what we were talking about, or just write true, whatever you feel like. True. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to just write that, I think, anyways. And not give us any context. But yeah, if you took the time to like and subscribe already, we really appreciate it. If you didn't, you better do it, or just slip over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe there, give us a 5-star rating. We really
joining the cartel anyways. We love all you druggies.
Exactly. Keep fiending the pod. We love that you keep coming back for the audio. We're trying to bring you this live stream. We're trying to make the video better. And thanks for joining the cartel and being part of the commune. Now it's time to get more high on bong tokes. Get us to 1,000 subs so we can get high with y'all.
All y'all.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace, homies. Oh.